Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about what you can do with your money in Pillar Chase 2 and how to spend it. I'm going to organize this into a list on how you should spend your money. Number 1 on the list being the highest priority and the last one on the list being the lowest priority. And if you haven't already, I think you should like and subscribe because I plan to do more videos like this in the future. But without further ado, let's begin. To start, I feel like this should go without saying, but get a killer first. There is no other item you can buy in the game that'll affect your gameplay more than getting a killer. While the 2 starter killers are good, there's so many other options with absolutely dope characters that you can get. This is the entire roster of killers in the game, and I'll let you look over which one you want to get. I'm not going to try and persuade you into getting anybody because, well, we all know how that tier list went. What I will do, however, is place all these killers into categories where I think they fit the best. There's going to be 3 categories for them all: Brutes, Strategics, and Trappers. Brutes are characters where you just gotta get in there and deal heavy damage with your main attack. Strategics are characters that are gonna do heavy damage with their abilities if you use them correctly. And finally, Trappers are characters that can get heavy area control just by using their abilities. Each character is unique in their own way, and none of them are terrible by any means. All of them are actually really strong, and you just need to know how to play them. On screen right now is each killer and what category I think they belong to. It all honestly boils down to what killer you think would fit you best and which playstyle you're best at. A lot of these killers can also be debated into another category, but this list isn't for debate. It's just so you can get a general understanding of what this character can do. I'm not going to make this next one second, but I'm going to make this an honorable mention. The upgrades in this game are actually really solid. If you're anything like me, you probably looked over the upgrades and thought they were kind of useless. But boy, was I wrong. These upgrades are really solid, and I'm going to show you a build that I like to use and a build that's actually really starter friendly. But before I get into those builds, let's talk about the upgrades as a whole. All of them are dirt cheap, most of them being 10 coins and some of them being 30 coins. While some are kind of useless like Greedy, others are really good like Clarity. There's absolutely no harm in buying these upgrades on your road to getting a new killer, mainly because they're so cheap and so useful. It is a bit tedious that they disappear after every death and every time you leave the server, but with these upgrades, surviving is going to be much easier, and if you survive, you can keep them for the next round. I also want to talk about the evade ability that they added. I mean, just look at that. You saw how I juked that Vapor. It really gets you out of tight situations. But now I'm going to talk about the builds. You can equip up to 3 upgrades, and you'll lose them all if you die, but pairing some of these upgrades up together is a huge game changer. The build I like to use, which is seen in this clip, consists of Clarity, Evade, and Runner. I use Clarity because it allows you to see a lot of the map, so you can see when the killer is coming from afar. The only problem is that the darkness still is there, so you need a flashlight to see, but other than that, the fog is mostly gone, so you're able to see across the map fairly easily. Evade is used to get out of tight situations, like if you get stuck on a wall or in a corner next to a killer, and Runner is going to sacrifice 10 HP, but it's going to give you 10 more stamina, so you can use Evade more often. I really like this build because as long as you're good at not getting hit, you should be able to win fairly easily. For the starter friendly build, we're going to be using Clarity, Danger Vision, and Sneaky. This build is good because while it gives starters more sight so they can see where the killers are, it also doesn't mess with your base stats, so you can get used to things like stamina managing. Clarity is used for the same reason. It really just opens up the map a lot, and it's honestly really helpful overall. Danger Vision lets you see the monster for 6 seconds when somebody is killed. The logo is really big, and it lets you stay on high alert if the monster's nearby. It's great for starters so they can keep an eye on the killer and make sure they're not getting hunted down. And lastly, we got Silent Step. If a survivor manages to escape the killer's line of sight, Silent Step should help them get away because they'll be quiet. Upgrades overall are a useful thing, and there's so many combos you can make with them, but I just shared 2 combos that you can make that help you no matter what killer you're going up against. After you get your first killer, or whatever killer you were trying to get, I think Survivor Cosmetics should be the way to go. In order, and the way I would buy them is Running Animation, Victory Poses, Death Effects, and then Death Scream. But again, that's just me. You get them in whatever order you want. The reason I say you should get Survivor Cosmetics first, though, is because majority of the time when you're playing as a survivor. And me personally, I would want to flaunt off something I have more often. It's that and the fact that the killer cosmetics are so expensive. That's not to bash on the killer cosmetics though, because I think they're overall just better than the survivor cosmetics. But when you're playing survivor more often and the cosmetics for survivors are cheaper, I personally would want to get survivor cosmetics first. Now lastly, we have the killer cosmetics. Pillar Chase releases some really goated skins, and there's a lot of options to choose from. Whichever one you want honestly boils down to who you play or just whatever one you want. In the order that I would buy this stuff is getting the monster skin first and then getting the monster emote after. The reason for that is because the skin is going to be seen more often. On top of that, some skins have some really good chase music to it, and with the emotes, you're barely ever going to be using them in game unless you're just like toxic, and they only show up briefly if you manage to lobby wipe with your killer. And again, that's not to bash on the emotes, because a lot of them are really funny and a lot of them are really good. And again, with me, it's just a matter of me wanting to flaunt off what I own more often. Also, despite how expensive the limited skins are, I still think you should take advantage of them because most of them are really good, and once they're out of rotation, you don't know when they're going to come back. It may be a little expensive, but it's definitely better than paying Robux to get the skins. But with all that said, that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and again, leave some comments down below on what you guys think I should do next. And if you enjoyed the video and haven't liked and subscribed already, I think you should, because I plan to do more content like this frequently. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you guys.